So I said I wanted to take a little bit more of a look at John specifically, and I'm going through these now because I want to look specifically at John's face. I want to try to look at it closer. And this is well after the fact. He's had time to digest, and he's older now. He's got another family. He's got more kids. You know, I want to dissect and see if I can understand through his speaking and the looks on his face and the body language, if I can understand where the truth is and where there's sort of like a gloss over.
John, why do you think John Bonet was...
Well, I've had two different very experienced people look at it. One was Lou Smith, who was a detective brought in.
Again, so to start off, like, he starts here and gathers up. Number one. Number two, he and Patsy do this a lot. They first they appeal a lot to experts, and that's a tactic. I can't remember where I learned that, but that's a tactic to where I appeal to something, to try to first of all get you off my back, and to let you know that, hey, I'm not just out here thinking about myself. Somebody else thinks it with me. And so he starts by doing that. Takes a little bit of a deep breath as he does it. Okay.
And by the DA early on to look at the case because he didn't think the police were,
But he comes up. He first mentions a theory. They're not answering. He's not answering the question. He starts off by talking about a theory. I'm asking you, why do you think? What do you think about it? And you start telling me about a theory about somebody else. We're not asking you about what somebody else thought or what somebody else came down and got wrong or didn't get wrong. I'm asking you.
Headed the right direction. Lou, within a month or two, said, no, the family didn't do it. There's plenty of evidence to point to an intruder, and that's the direction we ought to be going. Lou felt it was a kidnapping gone wrong, that it was a kidnapping, and something went wrong and didn't happen. I also got to know a fellow by the name of John Douglas, who started the whole FBI profiling program. He interviewed over 5,000 of the worst criminals and became this pretty good profiler to predict who did this or what his characteristics are. And he said, this is not about your daughter, this is about you. Somebody was either angry, very angry at you, or very jealous of you. And this was done to hurt you. And I was like, oh man, that's a hard pill to swallow, number one. And number two,
that was fake. That was so fake. There is something that Patsy did. I'm going to show you guys. Patsy did the same thing. That's fake. Oh man. And I thought, oh man, that's fake. You're telling me a story. You're telling me you're actively lying to me right now. You're actively lying to me right now. Oh man. You're telling me a story. So first of all, like I said, he mentioned one expert and that theory fell off. But then as he started to mention another expert, and I guess that theory fell off. We still have not gotten to the fact of what you think. Number three, he's telling me a story, and he's trying to add in elements. So you've given me two experts, expert theories, but now you're telling me a story, sort of like a realness in a way. And so that's what I'm trying to look for. You're mixing in truth with lie. So if you can mix in effectively the truth with a lie, you can mix in like true emotions with fake things, then you can be more effective in telling a lie.
I've never made anybody that mad that I know of. I can't imagine that. He said, you may not.
He's dismissing the possibility of making somebody angry. This is what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to force it. I'm just saying that if I were to respond at that age and say, somebody's upset with me, I don't know why. I don't know why they would come after my daughter. I don't understand what they would be mad at. Whatever it is, I didn't mean to do it. But I don't think it warrants what happened here to my daughter. Like, there's more of a forcefulness, there's more of a downwardness, and more of a certain, I don't want to say certainty, but more of a assuredness about what you're talking about. He and Patsy through these interviews they have this energy to where they sit back and they're telling you a story, but it's almost like they're ending the story in a question, and they're ending what they're saying in a question, even though it's not a question. It's really weird.
I even know him. It's just somebody that this was done to hurt you. And in my mind, those are conflicting theories, but then somebody said, well, maybe it was somebody that was trying to hurt you and they were going to kidnap your daughter, and that failed. So I thought, well, that makes sense. That takes these two very experienced people, and
that's the same thing. You would be hurting me by taking my daughter, John.
Their theories are compatible. I think he's right, I'm afraid to say, but we won't know till we find this creature.
So as far as we...
As long as JonBenet has been, this is what he has to come up with. I'm not trying to criticize him. Trust me, I'm not. But I'm saying as long as JonBenet has been, this is what he has come up with. Have you truly thought about then why your daughter is, because it sounds like trying to get away from it in terms of, and of course everybody, you lose a loved one, you want to put it to the back of your mind, gone but not forgotten kind of deal. So I get that, but it sounds like you haven't done any real reflection on why did this happen. If somebody were to, and I'm saying if somebody were to say, maybe somebody was upset with you, maybe you did somebody wrong in business, I would say, maybe there was a time when I wasn't such a good businessman. Maybe I was a little bit more shrewd than I should have been, and this, that, and the third. There was none of that. Or maybe some of my business dealings back in the day, I was really hard on people, and so that could have led to this. And I did dote on my daughter a lot, and so one of the ways that somebody knew that they could get at me is through this. And I think unfortunately that this may have been what it was. So I don't know. There's all kinds of theories out there, but the one that I think of, and I would hope is the case, is this, that, and the third. There was none of that. He tells us three theories, and is not really sure on which one that he wants to pick. He's maybe wavering on what he thinks might be a good one to go with, but he doesn't really answer the question.
No, the kid's still out there.
Oh, he is, of course. Now, he may be in prison, but he's out there.
But you need justice.
And we need justice, absolutely. That's just, I've dealt with that whole issue.
If he's done, he's not out there anymore. We can't find him.
Too, over the last 25 years, the issue of forgiveness. How do you forgive something like this? And I've told people, if you'd have put this creature in my presence in a room, we won't need a trial. And I would have no remorse. I was so angry.
I gotta stop you right there, John. I gotta stop you. I got to. You said in an earlier interview when I think it was Barbara Walters, or 2020, I think it was 2020 or something like that. It was like one of the interviews that we have already gone through. They asked you that question already, and they said, "What would you do?" Something similar. I won't say it was the same question, but it was something similar. What would you tell the kid you could right now? I would just, I don't know why they did it, and it's just a terrible thing that you did. You're a monster. You're a monster. But now you're telling me that you would have went crazy on the person. See, come on, man. That's all I'm saying. The development of the story, the development of what you would, it changes. The energy back in the 90s wasn't any fighting energy, but now you telling me that you would have put hands on this person? Man, I just feel like there is a developing comfort level. The further you get away from it, there's a developing comfort level that exists here, because the more I reflect on this scenario, this situation, the more that I want to tighten up my story. And maybe I've read comments and stuff like that of what people have been saying to me, because we know the comments get to them because they want to put you in court. So the more that I look at this, the more that I rearrange some things in my story to kind of align more with what you say I should be feeling.
And wanting to deal with it. And then I thought, well, that makes me just as big of a criminal as this person. So that's not really a good solution, even though I knew I had that anger in me and I would have absolutely no remorse. Then I moved into, well, I can't forgive because John Bonet was a victim. I'm not the victim. I'm a bystander. And then I realized finally that forgiveness is really a gift you give yourself.
What?
You've got to release that desire, that anger, and move on. And it doesn't matter if the person you're forgiving wants to be forgiven or not, or even ask for forgiveness, but you've got to move on. And that concept of forgiveness is a way to move on.
Hello.
Johnny, what the heck are we talking about? What the heck are we talking about? I asked you, what are your theories of your daughter? You gave me 3 theories that had nothing to do with what you said, and now you launch off into forgiveness by first stating that I was going to forgive, but then I wasn't, because why should I? And I wonder if this is indicative, because nobody asked him this. I got it based on what Dr. Weck said. I gotta wonder, I gotta wonder if it's related to, sometimes people do this thing too where they talk in third person, and I gotta wonder if he's trying to talk in third person. Oh, if I were to say something to the kids, this is what I would say. I would say, I love you, you're forgiven, I'm upset with you, but how dare you? And what he's really saying is really internal. It's internal to, maybe I'm a monster. Maybe I know that nobody knows me, but I know myself. Nobody knows who I am, but I know myself. And if I know myself, I know that I can do some really bad things. I would like to get rid of that side of myself, but I know that it exists because I have to give myself grace. So even though I know I did this bad thing, I'm not a bad person, right? So I wrestle internally with, should I forgive myself or should I not forgive myself? But at the end of the day, what kind of a person would I be if I stay down on myself all the time? I gotta forgive and forget. I gotta move on. That's an interesting position to be in there, John. What do you think, John? But anyways, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts. Am I still being too biased? Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But at the end of the day, this is extremely interesting. And until the next video, take care of yourselves.